There's a new movie on Hulu called No One Will Save You that was the talk of the social highways all weekend. So of course, I had to see what all the hubbub was all about. So here's all the hubbub about No One Will Save You. Bub. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be sure to tune in every day in October for my annual Best in Horror Movie Countdown. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time. No One Will Save You is streaming on Hulu. It's directed and written by Brian Duffield. A young woman named Bryn, played by Kaitlyn Dever, is alienated from her community after she was involved in a freak accident as a child that took the life of one of her best friends. She now lives alone in her mother's home. One night she finds her home has been broken into and is not prepared for who or what it is that has invaded her home. After accidentally killing one of the invaders, she finds out that she is not the only one who was visited in the night. Okay, enough vagary. It's been advertised and spoiled that the home invaders are gray aliens. But with UAPs and UFOs being all over the news, you can bet your sweet bippy that this isn't going to be the last UFO alien movie you're going to be seeing in the coming months. Brian Duffield was the man behind Spontaneous and was the writer behind such notable genre films as The Babysitter 1 and 2, Love and Monsters, and Underwater. So while I've liked quite a bit of those, No One Will Save You seems to be the one that's going to make him a household name from this point forward. On a very small scale and a meager budget, Duffield manages to deliver quite a powerful little sci-fi horror movie, incorporating elements from some of the biggest sci-fi horror films ever made. Honestly, there isn't a big-budget sci-fi film about UFOs or aliens that this film doesn't borrow from. There are whiffs of Fire in the Sky, hints of Nope, nods to Signs, lifts from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, tips of the hat to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, riffs on A Quiet Place, and even homages to E.T. No One Will Save You may not be the most original in presenting this type of UFO phenomena, but it doesn't make it any less of a movie. What distinguishes this movie from the others, other than seamlessly incorporating elements of all of the aforementioned movies, is that it has a strong emotional core and an interesting protagonist. Despite the fact that only about 5 words are uttered in the entire film, the movie fleshes out Bryn's character very well in the opening moments through her day-to-day actions as an outcast in her town. She longs for human interaction, but then again seems quite content being on her own, away from the rest of the world. Duffield makes it very clear that Bryn herself is an alien in her own town even before the spaceships show up. Kaitlyn Dever does a fantastic job of making you care for her plight, even though she hardly utters a word. That takes a bit of talent in its own right. Now I have to admit the fact that she breathes so loudly when she's trying to be quiet got to be a bit annoying for me. A deaf alien from across the room could have heard her huffing and puffing while crouching around the corner. Still, the tragedy that occurred with Bryn in her youth and the pain she carries is communicated all the way through. Another thing that makes No One Will Save You stand out is that this is a damn good-looking movie. The effects are astounding. After seeing some awful CG this year in so-called blockbusters from the biggest studios, it baffles me how seamless these aliens look. Not only that, but the other effects, such as the possessed humans, the billowing clouds containing the spacecrafts, and the spacecrafts themselves, are downright jaw-dropping. While films like Close Encounters and E.T. delivered great effects for their time, and some of the later ones were well done, this might be one of the best-looking UFO movies made to date. I love the variety of the aliens. While all of them are similar in shape, the sizes and functions of each are wonderfully creative and reflective of alien lore. I also love the way the motivation of the aliens is vague. Yes, this seems like some kind of invasion, but it also seems as if they're trying to understand Bryn and even might be friendly at times. Then again, they randomly feel aggressive and threatening. This unpredictability only adds to the unknown factor to a species we simply cannot comprehend. And I like that added detail to Duffield's alien tale. No One Will Save You is basically a cat and mouse chase for the bulk of the movie, and it successfully maintains the tension all the way through, with Bryn fighting tooth and nail to escape this invasive species. This was an extremely physical role, and Deaver takes quite a few lumps along the way. While there is a lot of running and hiding, Duffield manages to make every scene feel unique and full of suspense. Yes, Deaver is not very imposing. At times she looks like she's barely over 4 feet tall. Still, this isn't a movie that gives her superpowers or unnatural luck. Bryn is just scrappy, and that seems to be all she needs to survive. So let's talk about that ending. And if you're not interested in spoilers, just move on now. The ending where Bryn is happily dancing throughout the street with others who seem to be living a happy life, blissfully ignorant of the alien overlords hovering above. One might think that despite the fight, Bryn was assimilated like the rest of the townsfolk. Or more likely, because she was such an outcast in her community and longed for such a simpler life, that the aliens left her alone and didn't possess her, and she's simply living her best life, having come to terms with the sins of her past. Like the best of films, it's open to interpretation depending on the type of film you want it to be. Sure, we've seen the aliens rooting through the refrigerator, we've seen aliens leaping from roofs, the lights in the sky, and the ships emerging from the clouds. But you've never seen it look this good and framed in such a tension-laden film. Duffield has delivered a wonderful little surprise in No One Will Save You, and having seen that he can capably ape some of the most iconic UFO films in cinematic history, I'm eager to see what he has up his sleeve next.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're